Today I'm diving into a topic that helps people figure out how much they need to save for retirement. It's a quick and easy, down and dirty option. We're going to break down two popular retirement rules of thumb, the 4% rule and the 25 times expenses rule. Hey, don't worry if these sound like financial mumbo jumbo right now. By the end, you'll be explaining them to your friends and family at Thanksgiving dinner. All right, we're going to kick things off with the 4% rule. The 4% rule says you can safely withdraw 4% of your savings in your first year of retirement, then adjust that number for inflation each year without running out before you do. Here's how it works in real money terms. Let's say you've saved up a cool $1 million. The 4% rule says you could withdraw $40,000 in your first year of retirement. The next year, you'd adjust for inflation. If inflation was 2%, you'd bump it up to $40,800. Now, this rule didn't just fall from Wall Street or out of the sky. Well, there is a somewhat relation. It came from a study back in the 90s by a financial advisor named William Bengen. He crunched the numbers and found that following this rule gave retirees a pretty good shot at not running out of money for at least 30 years. Just remember, it's a guideline, a rule of thumb, not set in stone, so you've got to be flexible. All right, switching gears to the 25 times expenses rule. This one's pretty straightforward. It says you should try to save 25 times your annual expenses before you retire. So let's break that one down. If you spend $50,000 a year, you'd want to save 25 times that, or $1,250,000. And do all that before you trade your briefcase for a beach chair. It's kind of like saying, hey, make sure you've got enough in the bank to cover 25 years of expenses. And here's where it gets interesting. These two rules are actually working together. If you flip the 4% rule on its head, you get 100 divided by 4, which equals 25. That's where the 25 and the 25 times rule comes from. So, if you follow the 4% rule and withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year, you're essentially living off 1/25 of your nest egg each year. Like magic, but with math. All right, so nothing's perfect. Let's look at the pros and the cons. All right, we're going to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. After all, that's why it's called a rule of thumb and not a rule of, well, you get the idea. It's simple and easy to understand. You don't need a PhD in math or finance. You don't even need to pull out your HP12C calculator. They give you a concrete savings target to aim for. It's like having a financial GPS. And they've been tested against historical market data, not just wild swings and guesses. The bad part or the cons? Well, they don't account for your individual circumstances or your spending patterns. Maybe you want to travel the world, or maybe you're okay puttering around in your garden or garage. Nothing wrong with that. They assume a steady market, which we know isn't always the case. The stock market can be as unpredictable and volatile as Florida awaiting a tropical storm. And they might be too conservative for some, leading to unnecessary penny pinching. You don't want to be eating cat food in your golden years if you don't have to. And there is a school of thought that says the best plan is to die with zero. Spend it all on the way out. But that's a topic for another episode. All right, let's bring this down to earth with an example. Say you and your spouse figure you'll need about $60,000 a year in retirement to live comfortably. Using the 25 times rule, you'd target $1.5 million as your savings goal before retiring. $1,500,000. Now, flip to the 4% rule. If you save that $1.5 million, you could withdraw $60,000 or 4% in your first year of retirement. That's 4% of $1.5 million, which matches your expected expenses. See how neatly that works out? It's like financial harmony. Remember, these are just guidelines. Your actual retirement needs might be as unique as your fingerprint, and I bet they are. Maybe you've got a pension that's going to keep you living large. Maybe you plan to work part-time, selling your famous chili at the farmer's market. Or maybe you've got some big travel plans that bump up your expenses, like skiing 100 days every ski season. Well, that's why it's crucial to look at your unique situation. The rules can be a great starting point, but they're not one-size-fits-all solutions, like buying a suit off the rack. Might fit okay, but it's always better when it's tailored just for you. The 4% rule and the 25 times expenses rule. Two sides of the same retirement planning coin. Simple tools that can help you get a ballpark figure for your retirement savings targets. But remember, your retirement journey is as unique as you are. These rules are just the beginning of the conversation because they're rules of thumb. They're not the end. It's always a good idea to sit down with a financial professional who can help you create a personalized retirement plan that takes into account all the quirks and uniqueness of your situation. Hey, if you found this helpful, you can help with a sub. And if you've got questions about retirement planning, drop them in the comments below. Your question might inspire my next episode. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.